So here we are back again with Quake running. Now, the reason I chose Quake, and there are some other games, the reason I chose Quake, it's an older of one of the sort of first-person shooter games, and the thing with it is it's basically a looking game. There's no sort of separate aligning of the gun. When you activate the mouse look function in the game, by tilting, I'll do a tilt down to show you what I'm doing with the mouse. But basically you've got tilt and pan. It's a looking game, and you move around and look. There is you have got the ability to go, move yourself from side to side and forward and back. But the looking is done normally with the mouse, but now through the pan tilt mouse with the equivalent of pan tilt wheels. I'll just tilt down once again and line that up. I'll widen that a little bit. Just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just using them like this. So that's, let me see if I can figure it out. So from a full 180, I'm not sure if the ratio is exactly right. It's a smaller ratio than you'd normally have on wheels for the turn. That's something that I'm possibly looking at changing in later versions with basically different size drive wheels and so on to change that ratio. But it's still sort of enough that you can, basically you can play the game. And my idea with that was that, I've always found with, sort of training on geared heads, you go into the rental house or something and you sit there and you put the torch on the thing, or you put the camera on and you wait for a rental technician to walk across the room to get something from a shelf and try and follow them across. That's, you're not being sort of forced to get into that thing where you're really playing, where you're really following things and your motivation to do it is not really the same. But by playing the game, the thing with this game is if you don't do it well enough, the monsters get you. So you've got that motivation. So now I have to show you the next part. And because normally with the mouse, it only actually takes one hand to operate the mouse, whereas with this, of course, you now actually require both hands to pan and tilt, and to this is your fire button here, the little micro switch there. So you the other part of the movement in the game is normally controlled with your left hand on the keyboard using the letter keys and the space bar to jump and all those sort of things. What I've had to do is to make a little sort of contraption so that you can actually play the game, and that is down here. What I've got there is, you probably can't really see that. What the hell is that? That is an array of little solenoids there, and the solenoids, the shaft of the solenoids come through, and it's not ideal conditions for photographing this. Basically the shaft of they're push shot solenoids, they come through and they activate the keys on the keyboard. This is an old keyboard and I've just built it over the top. There are a few sort of pencil holes for some of the other less sort of critical functions you need to access just to get into the game and so on. But basically the solenoids, and there's, let's see, 7 of them, there's your fire one, there's your change weapons, that's the spacebar for jumping, and then the directional ones. So that's forward, back, left and right. And it's powered by, in this case, just a 12-volt gel cell battery, and driven by this part here, which the lighting is not really good. I'll bring that light around a little bit. What I've done here is just wire up some buttons to be operated by your feet. So you've got your jump button, your change weapon button, your fire button there on the big toe on your right foot, and there's just a little array of micro switches there, reusing an old CD as a kind of as a sort of a four-way directional thing which you operate with your feet, and you know, by doing that it's kicking the little solenoids, and that's how you move yourself around. So it's a little bit of a learn to be able to play the game, but you know, I mean, and this mouse of course can be used not playing the game. It can be used just as an email checker like I did before, but you know, it's actually quite good to be able to play the game, because it does motivate you to actually really get into the headspace of handing and tilting with the wheels. So in the next video I'm going to do a short demonstration of playing the game.